And we are live, everybody. Welcome to the NBA Strategy Show, Friday, November 7th, final day of the week. And we are here to talk some basketball. At least that's what I want to do. I hope you guys want to do that too. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. NBA Cup week number 2. We got a lot of games today, some of which not included on the DraftKings slate. So we've got Boston, Orlando, Cleveland, and Washington. Both of those games lock at 7 o'clock. Toronto, Atlanta, Detroit, Brooklyn, Houston, San Antonio. They all lock at 7:30. Charlotte, Miami, Dallas, Memphis, Chicago, Milwaukee, and Utah, Minnesota. They all lock at 8. So what you're hearing right now is that the entire DraftKings slate locks within an hour. 2 7s, 3 7:30s, 4 8 o'clocks. And we'll be live for all of it. Live tonight at 5 o'clock for the deeper dive, 6 o'clock for live before lock, 7 o'clock for playback. Greg and I will be live on playback tonight, and every game on the DraftKings slate locks during that show. If we're going to have news, late swaps, whatever, that's where you want to be. Playback.tv/Stokastic. There will be a link in the description of the deeper dive, live before lock stuff. So, guys, you're going to want to be around. When Josh looks to the left at his screen, you know he's locked in. The left of my screen is just where chat is. So, straight on view, looking at chat, the clock, I guess, if I go that way. But this view, the way that I'm talking right now, is me looking at chat. And Jones says FanDuel took the last 2 games off as well. Yeah. 2 10 o'clock games tonight, Warriors, Nuggets, and Thunder, Kings. So we're just going to try to set the table this morning. You know, this is not a show where we walk away with takes. Not when we have a big slate like this. There's just too much going on. And I've got the boom bust tool and all of the stochastic projections pulled up to start. And there's not really any extremes. 30% ownership going to Daniel Gafford, about 25 for Giannis, Tyrese Martin, Davion Mitchell right now, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Get a couple guys in the 20s like Terrence Mann, Norm Powell, Jalen Johnson, Kristaps Porzingis. And it's all sub 20. Like, we don't have, at least as of right now, like stupid broken value or, you know, a pay up option in a spot that like his price isn't right. This is all pretty balanced stuff, at least for right now. And those are the kind of slates I like, especially going into lock, because if you've got an angle, you feel a lot better about getting to it because there doesn't seem to be as much opportunity cost on the day. So let's go through and talk about each game quickly. Boston, Orlando. Not too much interesting here for Boston. Same injury news we typically have. You know, we expect to get White, Pritchard, Brown, Minot, Neemias Queta. Tough spot, clearly. Like, good game. You know, Boston's better than I think what people imagine they would be. Orlando has been worse than what you would expect. Although they are better than they seem. But very balanced game for the NBA Cup. We need the NBA Cup standings page for this too, because that's mildly relevant. So in this group, only Boston and Philly have played. Obviously, Boston picked up that win. So Boston still holding serve. Loser of this game, like, it's you don't want to lose in the NBA Cup. If you lose twice, you're dead. If you lose once, you need to win by a lot in your other game. So this is a big swing game. It helps that Boston already has one in the chamber. But there's no real news on the Boston side. The Celtics are 3.5-point dogs. If we look at it from the Orlando end, injury-wise, everybody's healthy right now. So we're getting these guys at full strength. Best we can do right now is just take a look at Boston and Orlando as a full strength matchup. And there's not much going on here ownership wise. Neemias Queta is the most owned dude at 5%. Nobody's more than 2% optimal. I don't have a ton of interest in anything here. Relatively muted boom scores. Difficult matchup for Boston. Better matchup for Orlando, but their offense is so bad that like they kind of negate each other. It's the 7 o'clock start, so you're blocking yourself out for any 7:30 or 8 o'clock swaps. I mean, do you want to take shots on Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Simons, Brown? Like, these guys are all rosterable, but I don't think they're priorities. I Suck Gaming. They'll get handled as they come in. I would expect it today, but hard for me to say. Should be today. Humboldt. I've been getting crushed at NBA DFS. Is this normal? Yes. Getting crushed in DFS is normal. Every day you play, you should, like, the most likely scenario is that you lose like 40% of your money. Yeah. You can get to the end of the year and not win, and that's still normal. And then Steven Leibowitz, Boston never wins as a 3.5-point dog on the road in Orlando. Lock it in. Yeah. Right? Boston doesn't blow teams out. That's what I was told. Sure as shit beat Washington by 30. So yeah, I don't have much to say here for Boston or for Orlando, other than the obvious. No matter what, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Jaylen Brown, Banchero, Bane, Franz, you can always play these guys. They can be in lineups. There's nothing wrong with ever having a 34-minute a game dude. Even if they're bad value, they are functionally rosterable. But they are not going to look good. They are pivots at best and GPP plays only. Game number 2. This one should be a true turd. Cleveland Cavaliers in Washington taking on the Wizards. Cavs are on a back-to-back. They've got the Bulls tomorrow. Obviously, this is NBA Cup. So for this particular group, Cavs actually lost their opener. Wizards have not played. If the Cavs want to have any chance of moving on in this group, they got to win out. And every team in this, well, I mean, I guess the Pacers suck too, but like, you got to take advantage of your Wizards matchups because point differential matters. And one of these teams is going to beat the Wizards by 30. And you're hoping that it's you. But if the Cavs don't win this one big, they're probably in trouble. Obviously, we're not looking at the Wizards and thinking they matter for today. No crazy injury news for the Cavs, but they do have it. So Garland is back. We're expecting Garland, Mitchell, Hunter, Mobley, Allen. But Lonzo Ball out. Left knee injury management. Remember, back-to-back. So he's sitting the front end. He's sitting the NBA Cup end because it's the Wizards. Also, Dean Wade is out for this one, right eye contusion. So they're still missing these two. Max Strus still out. But otherwise, the main dudes, the 5 starters for the Cavs are back and available. For the Wizards, a slightly different story. So Chris Middleton is back. He had been out for like the past 2 or 3 games. However, Bilal Coulibaly is going to be out for this one. So keep your eye there. Wizards, don't do play tomorrow. Wizards also on a back-to-back. They've got the Mavs tomorrow. So if we look at the data for game number 2, kind of similar to the first one. Not a lot of ownership coming in, but very distinct difference in boom rates. And I want to point that out. Evan Mobley, 30. DeAndre Hunter, Alex Sarr, Donovan Mitchell, all in the 20s. Here's a reminder of what Boston Orlando looked like. These are all in the teens, 16, 17, 15. So this is a different experience in Cleveland and Washington. Not as much ownership, but like these are the guys I have more interest in a GPP. And it's because of the matchup. It's because of how bad Washington is. It's because of the pace of this game. So $8,900 Evan Mobley, sub 10% owned. Yeah, man, like that sounds good. Washington stinks. DeAndre Hunter as a $6,500 small forward. Sure. $6,900 for Sarr. Totally fine. 23% boom, 5% ownership. I mean, we might even be able to this will probably tell an interesting story. Some of these guys are pulling some negative leverage. Sarr, Jared Allen, Trey Johnson. But like Mobley looks good. Bob Carrington seems very reasonable. DeAndre Hunter. I don't mind getting to Donovan Mitchell right now. I think there's upside in this. Travis, I don't think there's much value in Champagny. Not with Middleton back now. I know that Bilal Coulibaly is also out, but when it was Middleton in and Coulibaly still coming back, Champagny wasn't getting that run, so I think it's tough to assume that he does today. But yeah, like 24% boom for Donovan Mitchell is a lot different than 15 for Paolo Banchero. So I like the Cleveland side because they face Washington. It's porous. Something's going to pop here. 4K Bub Carrington feels like a decent enough value as well. Same for $4,200 Trey Johnson. There are pieces here. The real issue is just the way that the minutes get distributed on Washington. Unless they're in a competitive game, and they're so rarely in a competitive game because of how bad they are, that causes these situations where like everybody only plays like 27 minutes. If it's close, you could get 30s for some of these guys. It just feels unlikely. Washington, by the way, the worst team in basketball, negative 15.3 net rating so far this season. That's 1.3 points worse than 29th. We'll keep it moving. Did I? No, I'm on it already. Toronto and Atlanta. Okay, interesting game. Atlanta, 1.5 point favorites at home, 236 total. Now, this is a really interesting game because both of these teams won their opener in their group. Atlanta smacked the Pacers, and then Toronto did what they needed to do and beat Cleveland. So Toronto doesn't want to waste that. Atlanta is obviously looking for it here. So this is a very important NBA Cup game. And it also feels like a game where you could see an extra minute for each one of these guys in projections because they already have 2 wins. Like, as you go further in the cup and what these teams need becomes clearer and clearer, then you could see more focus. And for these 2 teams, they're still extra live. So I wouldn't be surprised if they consolidated a bit. Toronto in particular. But this is a game that actually has ownership coming in. 20% to Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jalen Johnson, and Kristaps Porzingis. We also have 15 for Quickly and Barrett, 10 for Ingram, Barnes, Okongwu, Daniels. Lots of ownership coming into this game, and that makes sense. A lot of positive leverage. I mean, look at that run of boom rates. 32, 39, 39, 25, 30, 30, 25, 28, 17. Then we get to the teens. That's like 8 guys in comparison to that Boston-Orlando game. Very different. Steven, they won't mesh. and they can't add pieces in season. The only way they could add pieces in season is if one of the starting 5 guys goes out. They're they are locked into this core financially for like 3 years. The only way it changes is if one of those guys goes out. They have no flexibility whatsoever. Now, as we look at them here, we've got negative leverage on Barnes, negative leverage on Quickly, pretty sizable positive leverage on Brandon Ingram, small forward only, 7,500. It's a tough position to fill typically. But yeah, if I'm looking at this right now, I think Brandon Ingram would be my guy from Toronto. The flexibility of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, along with the minutes, just makes him very hard to get away from. 6,100 point guard, small forward. That's just so easy. And like, we're getting big ownership to these guys like Porzingis, Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Quickly and Barnes are showing this negative leverage right here. Solid enough boom rates, but Ingram stands out. Porzingis stands out. RJ Barrett looking better than Barnes and Quickly. I'd rank it Ingram, Barrett, and then Barnes and Quickly together. Nothing wrong with Daniels or Okongwu. Once we get this all the way over here, it's tough, but Colin Murray-Boyles, Luke Kennard, 2 guys you could at least like roll the dice on in large field GPPs. And just to touch on this game quickly from an injury perspective, that's going to go to Garrett Temple, isn't it? Yeah, knew it. Knew I clicked on it. Didn't think I did. No real injury news for Toronto. Jonathan Mobo is out. Doesn't really affect anything rotationally. And then obviously for Atlanta, Trae Young is out. So that matters. That matters. But otherwise, standard issue rotations. Detroit and Brooklyn. Detroit 10.5 point favorites in Brooklyn, 226 total. Detroit and Brooklyn did not play last Friday, so neither one of them have a win or have a game in the NBA Cup. Obviously, Brooklyn has no aspirations of doing anything of value in any game they play. They're now without Cam Thomas. Pistons, not exactly fresh as a daisy, though. We got a Q tag on Karis LeVert. And Tobias Harris is still out for Detroit. On the Brooklyn side, as I mentioned, no Cam Thomas. We're expecting Tyrese Martin to start in his place. Drake Powell is questionable. Ben Surratt out. Cam Thomas out. Danny Wolf out. Nolan Traore out. Haywood Highsmith still out. So that's going to redistribute this silly team quite a bit. And as we look at this game, we do have quite a bit of ownership coming in. Unsurprising. 25% ownership coming into Tyrese Martin. Also quite a bit of negative leverage. But if he's starting, he's 4K. He's point guard, shooting guard eligible. And Brooklyn's just missing some dudes. Terrence Mann also getting some love. 20% owned. Pretty significantly over-owned. But 4,500. Small forward eligible. Has been playing more minutes. Makes some sense as value. Asar, 15% owned. Noah Clowney, Michael Porter Jr., Ron Holland, Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren, Nick Claxton. All these guys are 10 to 15% owned. I think 7K MPJ is certainly interesting. Hell of a shooting day last time out, but I mean, this guy is just going to let it sail. I assume I end up with him like wildly over projecting his points prop. 3,900 for Noah Clowney. Power forward, center eligible. Great flexibility. There's shots to be had for Ron Holland at 4,200. Beef Stew at 5,700. At least you get the flexibility. 7,500 for Duren seems expensive, but still very rosterable. And I don't know if you guys have noticed yet, but I haven't even said Cade Cunningham's name. 8% owned, 10% optimal, 10,400 point guard only. No reason he can't thrive in this one. What are the worst things Brooklyn's defense is doing? Now, undoubtedly, it's everything, and it's a small sample, but if we want to think about defense, Brooklyn's defense allowing the highest effective field goal percentage. They're giving up the most defensive rebounds. File that away. Turnovers and free throw rate are kind of middling. And then they don't allow a ton of threes. They allow a ton of shots at the rim. So, rebounding. Brooklyn doesn't do it. That is very beneficial for Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren. And they give up a lot of shots at the rim. That's interesting information. I think everybody would agree. Let's see. Cade Cunningham shooting. Cade Cunningham is taking 6 shots at the rim per 75 possessions. That's an 82nd percentile outcome. He was 90th percentile last year. That seems pretty good. Unsurprisingly here, Jalen Duren, 12 and a half shots at the rim per 75 possessions. That is a 99th percentile outcome. Isaiah Stewart, still 80th percentile at the rim so far this season. Probably not much of a Duncan Robinson day, so I'm sure he'll just make every 3 he takes. But Asar Thompson, 93rd percentile shot attempts at the rim. I think this is profiling as a very good Detroit Pistons setup. Whether it's Asar, Ron Holland has no trouble getting to the rim, rebounds and rim shots for Stewart and Duren, and then 10-4 for Cade in this matchup. Give me some Pistons, folks, and then we'll finish off of our lineups with value from the Nets. Does that sound crazy, chat? Are you guys with me here? Like, I think this was on a tee for the Pistons. Like, one of Jalen Duren or Isaiah Stewart is going to have like a next level stupid rebound performance. And we're already talking about some of the best rebounders in basketball. Jalen Duren is a 97th percentile offensive rebounder and a 96th percentile defensive rebounder. 97th percentile offensive rebounds. Jalen Duren set up to get like 3 buckets just from missed shots. Isaiah Stewart, 85th percentile offense and defensive rebounder. I like this spot for the Pistons, guys. I really do. And the game starts at 7:30. So you have a little bit of extra time and information. I think this is the game we're all looking forward to today. Houston Rockets at the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs are 2.5-point dogs at home. No ownership coming into this game. 12% to Stephon Castle, 0, essentially, for everybody else. If we take a look at Houston, we do have some injury news to pay attention to. We have a Q tag on Steven Adams. Obviously, Dorian Finney-Smith still out, but Q tag Steven Adams. Jabari Smith back, seems fine. And then on the Spurs side, Q tag Jeremy Sohan, Q tag Kelly Olynyk. Dylan Harper obviously out. De'Aaron Fox still not back yet. Luke Cornett still not back yet. So Spurs are missing some bodies. But yeah, not a ton of ownership. However, one thing to remind, $12,300 for Victor Wembanyama. 12-3, center only. 0.8% owned. Just full stop. No one's playing Wemby today. And I don't think that's crazy. But he does have a massive boom score. Alper and Şengün, 9,500, center only, 2% owned. This is a really good matchup for Alper and Şengün. He is significantly stronger than Victor Wembanyama. Einsteinium, I agree. I like Şengün here. I don't know if I could play a 12-3 Wemby confidently in this matchup against the Rockets, but Castle looks fine. Durant's fine. $5,400 Jabari Smith, if he's going to keep playing 30-plus minutes, I don't care if he's a bad per-minute guy. I'd like to have a little bit more of this one just from a does it end up competitive thing, but 12-3 for Wemby's a tough price tag to swallow here, knowing what we have in Chicago, Milwaukee. Oh, Spurs Rockets from an NBA Cup perspective. Rockets haven't played. Spurs haven't played. Blazers beat the Nuggets, and that's the only game. So this one's massive. Massive. Can't afford to lose this game. So they're both going to be going for it. No doubt about that. But I like the guys that aren't getting owned. Give me Şengün. Give me some Jabari Smith. Happy to have some Castle. That's fine. There's not much to look at when it comes to their boom leverage ownership graph. Castle, slightly negative leverage. And then just a lot of like, meh. But I don't know what to do with Victor Wembanyama here, man. 12-3 is a lot. A lot. All right, midway point of the show. So we've reached a time where I'm going to talk about some stuff. You know? I don't want to unplug that. That feels like it's going to go wrong. So let's do this first. We had some wins coming in recently. It's been decent. It's 100K in there somewhere. Bunch of screenshots from last night. And from the most recent few nights. Shout out to Quinn, who was in chat yesterday. He picked up 100K 2 nights ago. But there's a lot here for you guys. If you guys want to get in at Stokastic.com, it's very easy to do. There's a link in the description of this video. Click it. Sign up through one of our partners. You will get a month of Sims for free as long as you follow all of the instructions on the page. And you can do that more than once. If you're eligible to sign up for 5 different sports books and you've never done it before, and you do through our links, you'll get 5 months of The Sims for free. It's very, very, very easy to do. I have one other thing I need you guys to do. This one's important. We talk a lot about Tails. We want you guys to check Tails out. It's totally free. Okay, if you guys are looking for picks or pick'em cards, I put DFS content out on Tails as well. You can either subscribe to individuals, they have paid packages, or you could just follow people and follow the free picks and the free picks feed. We have all of that available to you. But if you download the app and you're with us, you like us, if you can, it would help us out tremendously if you would leave us a review in the App Store. I can't explain how disproportionately important this is for us, and that's why we're asking for it right now. It has a huge impact when you guys get in there and leave ratings and reviews, and it really allows us to grow and provide you guys more of the things that you want. So any app store, whether it's the Apple Store or Google Play, app's easy to find. Just search for Tails. Install, like, review. We would really appreciate it. If you're using it and you haven't done it yet, just please, if you can, take a minute out of your day and do it. And if you're not using it yet, what are you waiting for? That's silly. You should be using that. Charlotte, Miami is a game that's on this slate. And it also has some ownership. Now, Charlotte are 4.5-point dogs in Miami. LaMelo Ball is questionable for this one. Obviously, that will have a huge impact on the minutes and rates of all things Hornets. So please keep your eye on that one. Brandon Miller still out. Grant Williams still out. Josh Green still out. Tijan Salon still with the G League team. So that LaMelo Ball news, very important. There's also very important news on the Miami side. And that news is this. Yakashonis is available. No, I'm kidding. Bam Adebayo is out for this one. Left big toe sprain. Obviously, Terry Rozier not with the team. Tyler Hero still out. So we're looking at an expected lineup of Davion Mitchell, Norm Powell, Pelle Larson, Andrew Wiggins, and Kel'el Ware. So we've got Bam's minutes to go around, Bam's touches to go around. Miami on a back-to-back. They've got Portland tomorrow. This is a home back-to-back, though, so not all that problematic for the Heat. You don't care about home and homes. Or home back-to-backs, that is. So ownership here. 25% to Davion Mitchell. 20 to Norm Powell. 15 to Kel'el Ware. 10 for Larson, Wiggins, LaMelo, and to an extent, Jaime Jaquez. Obviously, Kel'el Ware looks good at 5,600. In theory, he's stepping into a chunk of minutes and, could play upwards of 32, could play as low as 22. They've got options. It's Charlotte. So, Nikola Jovic can be the center against Moussa Diabate, But hard not to want to get to Ware. Massive boom score. I think Davion Mitchell looks good. He's probably going to step into some extra usage. Norm Powell's certainly never met a shot he doesn't like. Larson's just good value with the best positional flexibility. Wiggins is fine. Great boom score on LaMelo if you want to go that direction. And the Miami defense should be worse without Bam. So, it's LaMelo Ball. Jaquez, probably a little too expensive, but fine. 5,300 for Kalkbrenner with no Bam around isn't like a crazy idea to me. Knipple is probably not it. I think Jovic is a little sneaky at 4,500, 2% owned. What if Jovic plays 30 minutes today? Which happens all the time. He's 2% owned in a matchup against the Hornets. No Bam. I think the most interesting thing for the Heat right now is figuring out how you feel about Nikola Jovic. Which doesn't seem crazy. Jovic, recent games, 20 minutes, 18 minutes, 28 minutes, 10 minutes, 22, 25, 27. What if Nikola Jovic plays 28 minutes today without Bam? That is clearly, easily in our range of outcomes today. We've got him in for 23. He's 2% owned. And their starting center isn't playing. Keep your eye on Nikola Jovic for the rest of the day. We still have 3 more games to go on the main slate. The next one up is Dallas and Memphis Grizzlies, 4.5-point favorites at home, taking on the Mavs. We do have some ownership coming in here. That is coming into the Dallas side. Let's peek over to both of these teams first. From an NBA Cup perspective, Dallas didn't play. Memphis lost their opener to the Lakers. So if the Grizzlies lose today, they're out of the Cup. Obviously, the Mavs haven't been good so far, so they don't want to drop this one either. For Dallas, AD is doubtful. Derek Lively's still out, so we're assuming no AD. Russell, Christie, Flagg, Washington, Gafford was the starting lineup last time out. They moved Clay to the bench. Clay looked good coming off the bench. D'Angelo Russell sucked. Great. Always helpful. And then, by the way, Dallas on the back-to-back. They are in Washington tomorrow, so double road back-to-back for the Mavs. For the Grizzlies, they don't play tomorrow. They've got OKC on Sunday. Still no Brandon Clark, Scottie Pippen, Ty Jerome, Zach Edey for Memphis. Biggest ownership coming in here in this one is 30% ownership to a 5K Daniel Gafford. And I don't think that looks crazy at all. I think that makes perfect sense. Front court for the Grizzlies, not all that awesome. Daniel Gafford, now that he's back, 25 minutes in their last one against the Pels, 25 minutes in the previous game against Houston. If Daniel Gafford's playing 25 minutes, he's a very good per minute guy. We got him in for 24, 33% owned, 30% optimal. One of the best plays of the day. One of the first names you click on, at least as of right now. And if lock were in 5 minutes, Daniel Gafford is a no doubt about it cash game lock. 10% ownership coming into Morant and D'Angelo Russell. I mean, I'm going to be optimistic on Russell just because he has a skill set for the Mavs and no one else really has it. Now, he's going to suck a lot and he's going to blow a bunch of defensive assignments and get ripped off the floor. But there are days where, like, offensively, he's just going to be awesome. So I'm always interested in him right now when they've got guys out, especially AD out. Ja, I just don't trust, but it's fine. PJ Washington's playing massive minutes. No issue there. Cooper Flagg, point guard only, is annoying. There's some value on, like, Max Christie and Cedric Coward. No priorities. To me, the focus is Daniel Gafford. I'm going to roll the dice a little bit on D'Angelo Russell. What's going on with Triple J? I mean, I think there's just something broken in Memphis. If we're being honest, something's wrong there. But I don't know. I mean, Triple J was hurt coming into the season. He's got that, I think it's like a foot or a toe. I just don't think he's right. Or at least it doesn't seem like he is. Chicago Bulls, Milwaukee Bucks. The Bulls have been a very interesting story so far this season. Ayo Dosunmu is questionable for Chicago. If we look at the results so far, Milwaukee hasn't played. The Bulls beat the Knicks in the first game of the NBA Cup. I bet the Bulls to win their group. So that was a huge win. If they can win today, that bet is going to look pretty damn good. But they need to do it here. I accounted for that. They play the shitty teams easily. This was the swing piece. They got the swing piece against the Knicks. Yes. If they steal this, they're set. Even if they lose this one, though, they're not totally dead. The Knicks could then take out the Bucks, and we can get into like a point differential situation. But I need Chicago to win this game so that I can win my bet on the Bulls to win the NBA Cup. And I swear, if these morons beat the Bucks and then they turn around after beating the Bucks and the Knicks, and these idiots lose to Miami and Charlotte, or they blow this to Charlotte and lose the group, oh, I'm going to hate him even more than I already do. 27% ownership to an 11-6 Giannis Antetokounmpo against the Bulls. This is why you can't play Wemby confidently, or anybody else has a payup, because nothing looks better than this. 11-6 power forward against the Bulls. You have to. You have to. They're not even comparable. Not even close. Easiest thing you're going to do today is pay up for Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's silly easy. Josh Giddey, 9,300 point guard only, 20% owned, 20% optimal. I mean, he has obviously been playing quite well offensively this season. There's no doubting that. 58% true shooting. I mean, let's also say that that's league average, but that's league average on 28% usage, up from his typical like 22. He's shooting 68% at the rim. That's a number I want to keep an eye on because he's also shooting 33% from mid-range. Josh Giddey's been a 58% rim shooter forever. If he can finish at the rim like this, and he's 6'7", it would be helpful. That's great. But this stuff fluctuates. This is the stuff that made people jerk off over De'Aaron Fox a couple years ago, and he won the Clutch Player of the Year award, and it was fake. That can move around. If that falls back down, we're going to see it bite into his efficiency. But if that holds, if he can become a league average efficiency rim guy, that's massive for Giddey. The rebounding is always there. It's even better. The assists were never going to go anywhere. Still barfing the ball up a little bit, but not much you could do. You'd like to see him be a little bit more aggressive in the passing lanes. He's so bad defensively that it would be great to try to make up for that. Still not taking enough threes. That's just always going to be the issue. It's not enough threes. But if he's going to take more shots at the rim and make more shots at the rim, that will help to alleviate this a little bit. But I mean, the shot still just doesn't exist. He still can't shoot. That said, he fills up the stat sheet, man. I have no problem getting to a $9,300 Giddey here, especially because I want them to win. He's been playing great. The boom score looks great. No problem with it. If Dosunmu plays, shooting guard small forward 4,400 is a really nice value play. I'm not surprised to see him be the third most owned dude here. And then the rest of it's just filler. I don't need Trey Jones or Jalen Smith or Vooch or Ryan Rollins. Rollins is 6,200 now. That's tough. Cole Anthony's 5K. That's tough. I guess Vooch is probably a little sneaky underowned. Miles Turner to a degree, but never-ending supply of centers. Final game of the slate. Again, this is one of the 4 8 o'clock locks. Utah Jazz, 12.5-point dogs in Minnesota. Now we know Walker Kessler already done for the year. No other real Utah news. Still no George Niang. So we know what we're getting on the Utah side. This is the next game that both of these teams play, well, the next game that Utah plays at least, is Minnesota on Monday at home. Now, Minnesota would be on a back-to-back for that one. They've got the Kings on Sunday in Sacramento. Q-tag on Anthony Edwards. Q-tag on Terrence Shannon. That's all we need to know for right now. But obviously that Ant Q-tag going to be very important for anything that we're trying to do. No ownership coming into this game. Kind of interesting whether that's Ant, Randall, $6,300 Yusuf Nurkic in this matchup doesn't feel like a good time to do that. Markkanen continues to be unowned. If Utah just happens to be in this game, it wouldn't be super crazy. But I'm not interested in Ant. I probably like Randall a little bit more in this one. Q-tag be damned for Edwards. But this is tough. I mean, they're 2 touchdown dogs. I'm not confident this is a game I end up with a lot of exposure to. And so far in this group, Utah lost to Phoenix by 22. They had no aspirations. Minnesota just needs to carry out their business here and beat the shit out of Utah. Not bad. Not bad. All right, let me hit you guys with the schedule for the rest of the day before we start building our lineups, because we've got starting 5 to talk about. Schedule for the rest of the day. NFL strategy show with Greg and Laffy coming up next. Myself and DK DFS will be here for the deeper dive at 5. Greg and Spags on Live Before Lock at 6. Myself and Greg on playback at 7. It is time, my friends, to build out our lineups. So we're going to enter the single lineup sim. We're going to pick our starting 5. All righty, here we go. Time for the starting 5. We've got to find the 5 best plays at point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center on this lovely Friday NBA Cup day. All of the games locking between 7 and 8 o'clock. So let's find those 5 guys that stand out. We've got this sorted by ownership right now. I'm going to start with the best guy today. And I am absolutely 100% putting in Giannis Antetokounmpo at the power forward spot. Great matchup against Chicago. And he's Giannis. I don't think there's a lot to talk about here. I'm also going to go with a little bit more chalk in Daniel Gafford at center, taking on Memphis. Minutes are up a little bit. They're still dinged up. Doesn't seem like we have AD. Still no Derek Lively. Memphis front court, not all that good. Sorry, Triple J. So now we need a guard, a point guard, a shooting guard, and a small forward to fill out the rest of this lineup. Now, if we look at point guard, we've got some ownership coming into Tyrese Martin, Davion Mitchell, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I'd like to save at least a little bit of salary if we can here. That's probably going to mean I would put in Tyrese Martin, and that's not my favorite place to go just yet. But there's not a lot of other value out there. Mitchell's more expensive than him. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's in the 6s, as is Quickly and Russell. We don't really have a ton of pay down options at point guard. So I'm going to go to another Mav, a guy that didn't work out for me last time. I'm going to D'Angelo Russell. Great synergy with Gafford. Throw them lobs, man. Points for everybody. Shooting guard. This is a spot I'm going to get value, but I want to put a caveat on this one right now. Ayo Dosunmu is questionable today. We don't know if he's playing. That would obviously affect this. But if he is, he's 4,400 shooting guard, small forward eligible. Amazing flexibility. That leaves us with our final spot, the small forward position. And there are a couple guys here that we can go to for value. I am going to go to... All right, I'll put it out there. I've got 2 options here for me. I love the matchup for the Pistons today, and it's making me want to go to either Asar Thompson or Ron Holland. There are interesting reasons for both. The salary difference matters. And then I do have my eye on Brandon Ingram here. This is a very interesting game for the NBA Cup. Winner has a chance to win the group. Ingram at small forward, but 7,500, if I put him in there, we only have 5K for each position. I don't know if that's going to be the most efficient way to do this. He's not the worst value in the world, but if I'm going to go there, I think it's just easier to go to Asar. So I'm going to put Asar Thompson in, and now we've got our starting 5. D'Angelo Russell, Ayo Dosunmu, Asar Thompson, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Daniel Gafford. 5 guys locked, $16,400 in salary remaining, and we have 3 spots to go. I'm going to click complete this lineup. We're going to get the optimal 3 plays around our starting 5. Okay, and I'm fine with these names. I like all of them. Kristaps Porzingis goes in, 6,700. Davion Mitchell goes in, 5,500. And Pelle Larsson goes in at 4,200. We spend all of our salary. We're just shy of a 260 projection, and we're just shy of a 160 ownership. So I'm going to run the lineup sim and see where our baseline starting 5 starts out. I'm guessing like 40s, 50s, 60.7. Great start. 0.2% chance to win, 2.1% chance of a top 10, 40% cash rate. So we've got the first lineup in. Now we want to find out some 3v3s. So I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to clear out the 3v3. We're going to switch to 10% randomness. And we're going to find out what are some other options we could put around this core. And we get the same, because it typically does this. So I'll clear it again and rerun. Kel'el Ware, Noah Clowney, and Cooper Flagg. Not bad. Very different build. $3,900 Clowney gets us to pay down. We get a 6% owned Cooper Flagg. We spend all of our salary. 255.5 projection, 143 ownership. So we gave up 4.5 fantasy points, but we also cut 14 points in ownership. This one will likely be lower. I think we gave up too much projection, but still, it points us in the right direction. It'll be green. Yeah, 28% sim ROI, 33% cash rate. We run it back. 3 new options: Jalen Johnson, Jalen Smith, and Tyrese Martin. Leaves us $100 on the table. 255.5 projection, 160 ownership. Basically the same ownership, but we cut projection. I can let you guys know right now, this one's probably going to be in the 20s again. Too much projection loss. Yeah, 26. We go again. This is how easy it is to build lineups in the single lineup simulator. Click, sim, change, tweak, save, copy, whatever you want to do. It's all here, right at your fingertips. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Ron Holland, and Nick Claxton. So I get another piece of Detroit like I wanted. I do like Nickeil Alexander-Walker. 257 projection, 156 ownership. This will be our final random one. Then I'm going to see what I could actually put in to see if we can maximize it. 58% sim ROI, 36% cash rate. Can I find the goods? What's the best guy we can put in here right now? All right, right now, Kel'el Ware stands out, but I don't know if his center eligibility is going to cause us any additional issues. Larson's interesting. Clowney's interesting. It's a lot of centers. I'm going to take off the randomness. I'm going to lock Kel'el Ware and see what the optimals are around him. It's Walker Holland. Is that what we ran before? I don't feel like no, we didn't, because that's 500 in salary. I want to see what that optimal looks like. 3v3, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Ron Holland, Kel'el Ware. Final lineup. Turns out the randomness is better than my individual selection of Walker, Holland, and Ware. But either way, the core looks great. It's a fantastic starting 5, and we had no issue whatsoever putting out multiple positive ROI lineups. That's a decent starting 5 for a Friday. Well, folks, I believe we've taken our lap through this slate for today. We do have plenty of content to come up. Terrence Mann available to play Friday. That's good. I appreciate you guys being here. Please hit the like button on your way out the door. Lots of content to come. NFL strategy show is going to be coming up next. And then we'll be back again next week, just doing it all again. It's early. It's November. This NBA season is going nowhere. So thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it more than you guys know. This is a fun show. Good luck. And I'll see you guys Monday morning. Or I'll see you tonight at 5 o'clock for the deeper dive.